Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
assholeconsulting.com. Dear asshole, I'm a 28-year-old single guy without children living in Sweden. I graduated with my Master's of Science in Economics from a top university almost a year ago and started working shortly after that. However, due to health problems, I lost my jobs a couple months into it. And now I'm unemployed. Even though I'm not sick anymore, the situation sucks. Having followed you for a while, I now realize it was a major mistake to major in economics, where it's hard to find a relevant job. The question is, what should I do now? Should I continue to look for jobs related to economics, or should I try to initiate a career shift? I've been thinking about taking some accounting classes since it seems easier to find a decent job within that field. However, I'm not particularly interested in that subject. I've also been thinking about switching to IT, which I know you favor in general. Unfortunately, my current IT skills are low and require much more additional studying compared to just taking some more accounting classes. Tough shit. Additional studying would require me to live for free at my parents' place, which they wouldn't mind. I've got about $13,000 in savings and about $40,000 in student debt. How do you have student debt in Sweden? Don't they pay for everything over there? However, the interest rate is only 1%. I've tested my IQ at several sites, by the way, and seems to be around 120. Well, yeah, you should be able to do IT, no problem. Moreover, I feel slightly depressed in Sweden, which is rapidly turning into a Marxist, Islamic, and feminist shithole of a country. Rapidly turning into? Do you mean already is? Weren't you guys already Marxists, and now you just let the Islamists and the feminists in there? Actually, you guys were Marxist and feminists. The Islamists is just the most recent crap you've invited over to your country. The political elites despise the native population and try their best to replace it with ISIS soldiers through mass immigration, which is funded by insane taxes. The native women are generally very beautiful and would make excellent mothers had they been traditional, but sadly they're hopelessly brainwashed with leftist propaganda. On top of that, you have the Swedish weather. Higher education is completely free in Sweden. Well, yeah, but how the hell do you have $40,000 in student loans? What, did you go overseas or something? What the fuck? Tell me how you fucked that one up. You got a degree in economics. You're in a country where you get free education. And you still come away with $40,000 in student debt. How the fuck? Did you study under Paul Krugman? What gives? So maybe I should try to get those accounting classes and then look for a job in Switzerland or something. I speak German pretty well since I've lived there before and wouldn't mind going south. What do you think I should make out of this situation? I apologize for my extensive writing, but I think the information is needed in order for you to give me solid advice. All the best. Thank you. And we won't mention your name. Okay, here's the deal. We had a similar question with a guy in Germany where he also didn't like how his country was being taken over, but not by immigrants, by leftist politicians that let anyone willing to come in. So, I mean, there's always people that want to come in and take over your country and live off of your welfare. It's whether you're politicians defend the country and defend the sovereignty, which they haven't, and they certainly haven't been doing that in Sweden. So what I'm recommending to all people who are hard workers, they want to produce and contribute in life, but are in these countries that are likely to be not necessarily taken over, but just severely hampered and crippled and in decay and not offer great futures, there's a couple ideas. One, I do like your idea. Well, let's start with the education. Let's do that first. While you're there, get as much fucking education as you can for free. Like, educate the fuck out of yourself. Get a goddamn doctorate. That's one thing I was thinking. Like, if you got a doctorate in economics, you could go around the world and teach. Okay? That's one thing you could do. But even then, you could be facing a global education bubble where a doctorate in economics really won't be worth that much. I mean, you can maybe work in some government institutions. You can certainly go and teach. But I have a feeling that the education bubble is starting to burst, and becoming a professor is not good. It's going to be like the new lawyer. It's not nowhere near as lucrative as it used to be back in the 50s. So then that then boils down to IT, and you're just going to have to admit, you're going to have to start from ground zero. There are some things that you could do with economics, like maybe econometrics, but I didn't even want to do that. I would go full-blown big data. That might be something, but that's basically a computer programming class with actuarial classes and statistics. your economics of which may help a little bit in that. It's about the closest related degree, so you wouldn't have wasted too much of your time, but you're still pretty much going to be starting from ground zero. Accounting, yeah, but that's really not going to blast down these doors in the countries that you want to get in. I would almost do the doctorate in economics, which is a long shot, or get yourself a degree in a very highly in-demand field, like some kind of engineering, big data, or what do they call it? Big data is its moniker. I forget what the real degree is called. Get that education bought and paid for so that when you can get yourself a job anywhere in the world, but have the fucking Swedish government pay for it. Have those fuckers pay for it. Then your revenge to the Swedish people who voted in to have their country destroyed, your biggest fuck you to them is you leave with the highly skilled trained stuff that you got and you go produce at a different country. Germany could be one. I know you're good at German, but they are facing other issues. What I would recommend is if you can get into Switzerland, do that. Try to get into Switzerland. They actually do protect their borders. They have very sane government. I personally did not like Switzerland that much because it was too small and too compact for me, but I have a feeling that would not be a problem for you if you've lived in Germany and lived in Europe your entire life. Otherwise, there are 4 or 5 other countries you might want to consider. One, the United States. We're big enough that we are probably not going to collapse before Sweden does or the rest of Europe. 2, Australia, because they are an ocean. They too also very severely limit who they allow in and out. And that's a country you definitely would need a doctorate or like a very high level engineer. There's another way to get into Australia, and that is by just going there, being willing to go to the shittiest parts of the country and go to a bar and look for people with working boots and working overalls. Say, who do I talk to if I want to find a job here? That's another way to do it, but there's a big risk in that you got to fly there. You have to have enough money to make it out to the Perth and the Outback and the shitty parts. You probably have to rent a car. The guy who did it and pulled it off, he recommends that you have like 2 months worth of living expenses saved up. So there's that. So then there's New Zealand. So we got what? Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, the United States, Singapore. Singapore is another one I would recommend. And if you can get into any one of those countries where they actually appreciate hard work, they have enough respect to defend themselves against cultures that are not conducive to that culture and defend their borders, or are just so big they can actually stave off the inevitable till the point that your life expectancy is over, the United States. Canada's another one. I mean, Canada, could try Canada. That's what I recommend getting into. But yeah, what you got to do is while you're in Sweden, you're not going to collapse today or tomorrow. Stay out of Malmo. I would get as much education as high as possible so you never have to go back to school again. And then leave. Then leave. And I would start applying for citizenship now. If you could start applying for citizenship now, that'd be a good idea. I think you could probably, that'd be good. So do some research on the different countries. Maybe go travel and visit them and check them out. But yeah, start getting a good plan B together. So best of luck. Toodles.